It's Homebrew Month here at the Atari Network, and we've already done some reviews and talked about how the 7800 was more or less given a second chance thanks to Homebrew, and the community that was created around it. But now I want to feature some of the incredible stuff that is being produced and created by the talented, independent programmers around the internet. Some of these games are done, and we're simply waiting to receive our copies in the mail. Others are being worked on and still have potentially years before we get the fruits of these developers' labors. And others might never become more than what they are now. Now, I don't want to adhere to any rules about showing off X amount of games for each Atari console or anything like that. I simply want to talk about the homebrew that I'm legitimately excited for, to try and play for Atari platforms. And I want to start out with the one that I could play this very minute if I wanted to, but I'm stubbornly waiting for a physical release. EXO is available on the Atari VCS, and I believe you can purchase the ROM directly from Muddy Funcer for play on emulators and flash carts. But I want the 7800 cartridge I was promised, damn it. The game is an incredible experience and has been praised by those lucky enough to have played it. Funkmaster V over at Atari 7800 Forever gave it a perfect score and said it was probably one of the greatest 7800 games to date. It's built up so intensely in my mind that it could never live up to the hype I've created for it. But no matter, I just want to experience it with the EXO labeled cartridge in my Pro system and a 7800 controller in my hand. But beyond that, we have a few games that haven't been made available in its completed form to talk about, and one of the most interesting to follow right here on YouTube is the Mortal Kombat port to the Atari Jaguar. True Fun Games has been documenting for months in his work and efforts to port Mortal Kombat to the Jag as faithfully as possible. Originally, he was working to port all the arcade graphics to the console, but had to back things down just a bit by using the DOS port, which scaled down the graphics slightly. You can watch his slow, painstaking efforts in bringing all the moves, levels, and graphics to life on the Jaguar console over on his YouTube channel, and I'll have links to it in the description and pinned comments below. And recently, he released a demo for people to help him beta test on Patreon. Now, this is the kind of talent that needs more support in the Atari community, and I can't wait to see the final product from True Fun Games. It's surely going to be something incredible for the console. Heading back to my favorite console once again, I want to speak about a game that I've been begging Video 61 for a very long time. It's called Tile Smashers, and it's been available on the 5200 for a while. Maybe I should just cave and buy that version, but when I first heard of Tile Smashers, I didn't have the 5200. It probably won't be a game for everybody, and I'm sure that most people don't understand what the big deal is about it. I'm a fan of breakout-style games, from the original to Arkanoid and everything in between. Tile Smashers has multi-tiered levels, where you start at the bottom and work your way up, making it feel as though there is more to do than just smashing all the bricks on a single screen. And I find it incredibly charming and inventive, at least from what I've seen to this point, and I'm patiently waiting and hoping that its release is announced soon for the 7800. But moving on, I think it's going to become apparent that there's a 7800 tilt to this video. I am the 7800 Pro gamer after all. But I did take a good look at what is being worked on for the 2600, and the 2600 is by far the console with the longest history of homebrew games and the most homebrew released for it. So it's surprising to me that I saw very few games that got me truly excited. I've been anticipating Casey's Gold from Audacity Games forever now, but there's really no news or indication that I've seen that we'll ever get it. No, the most exciting game to me has to be the Atari Age exclusive of Caramujo, and guess what? You can download it for free right now. So why am I still anticipating it? Well, number one, I love plastic and circuits that I can sit on my shelf and stare at longingly into the night. And that is still a few months away from happening. But for number two, when somebody releases a game that looks as different and as interesting as this, then I feel that they deserve to make something off of it. In Caramujo, you guide a snail through some truly fantastic looking environments, especially considering that this is the 2600. I feel like this game is unique enough and looks good enough to really make me excited to play something new on the 2600 once again. But from there, we're going from a game that made me excited to play an old favorite console to a game that gets me really excited to own something new. I never had a Lynx before, and with some luck, I'll have one very soon. And Odynexus is a game that I really want to have and try on the Lynx handheld. It's from Atari Age and Ancient World Computing, and it's a horizontally scrolling shooter that looks really beautiful with nice, large, and inventive enemy sprites. Homebrew doesn't seem to be incredibly common on the Lynx, but it's not uncommon either. A lot of it looks really inventive and takes advantage of the hardware in really impressive ways. Overall, I really hope to finally have a Lynx, because Odynexus is getting me very excited to play it. And there's another game that I've been following for a while, and my excitement for it hasn't diminished in the slightest. Jumping at Shadows is a game that has a cool style, and I really want to play for myself on the Jaguar. Some have said that this game has a modern indie look to it, and while I know nothing of that world, I do agree that it looks really good. Beyond just the looks of the gameplay itself looks inventive, and I imagine it'll take a sharp mind to get through the entire game. I really like what I have seen, and I hope it's a good lengthy adventure for the Atari Jaguar, because I'm always looking for a reason to play that console. And let's wrap up the Jaguar games that I'm anticipating with one that's still in its early stages, and it's one of those 3D games that you all just seem to want so bad. And it's from somebody who has been working on various forms of 3D on the Jaguar for quite some time now. Dr. Typo is back, and this time he's working on something simply called Maze at the moment. It might still be a ways away, but if you haven't checked out his Dr. Typo collection from Atari Age, then I would recommend giving that a look to see if his work is something that interests you. It certainly does me. I have no doubt from looking at Dr. Typo's work on the Jaguar that Maze will end up being something fun for the console. And if you're somebody who wants to see more 3D homebrew and games that take full advantage of the console, then you need to follow and support the developers that are learning to take advantage of the Jaguar to bring these kind of games to you. Therefore, I think you should support Dr. Typo. But I think I've saved the best for last, as the game I'm most anxiously awaiting is one that I had no clue about until very recently. You see, there was a tech demo released a few years back for the Atari 7800, and it was incredible. Tons of sprites, scrolling backgrounds, intense music, and voices. It truly had everything we wanted. But it was only a tech demo and nothing more. A sort of nice what-if scenario for the Atari 7800. That is, until recently, as Playsoft is making the tech demo into something playable under the name Turmoil, Dreadnought Assault. It has me very excited for the continued advancement and releases for the Atari 7800 homebrew scene. The scrolling is so incredibly smooth, and the action looks just as intense and as challenging as the demo presented all those years ago. I'm sure the game is far off from being released, and that's fine. I want the final product to be that incredible experience that we all envisioned the first time we laid eyes on the original demo, and I have no doubt that it's going to be delivered. Once again, I'll have a link to the thread where you can continue to follow the work of Playsoft, and you can even potentially play it on an actual 7800 with a flash cart. And with that, well, those are the Atari Homebrew and games I'm most excited for moving into the future. The homebrew scene is always advancing, and there are always incredible new experiences and games being worked on. When I first started following the scene, I was excited for Night Guy, Venture on the 7800, Popeye, and more. And now we have those games, and we're excited for the next batch of incredible titles. Hopefully it's a cycle that won't end anytime soon. And I want to know, what homebrew are you most excited for? What consoles do you like to play homebrew games on, and why? And should I have mentioned or featured any other games in this video? Let me know the answers to all this, and more in the comments down below. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. I release 2 videos a week, so hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload. I also do a live gameplay series every other Saturday on this channel. It's Man vs 7800, and it airs at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. The next one is at the time and date on the screen right now. I'd also like to take this time to thank the following classy Atarians who support me on Patreon. They donate $5 a month to help keep the channel growing and going strong. So thank you to Jeremiah Thomas, Mr. Shua TV, Fens the Spook, Socrates63, Ball Gobbler, Jolt 7800, OG Hugo, Head Trauma Bob, and my own Celestial. You guys rock. And if you want your name mentioned at the end of videos, along with exclusive special features, then sign up over at patreon.com/7800progamer. And with all that said, it's time to wrap up another video for Homebrew Month here at the Atari Network. Be sure to check out all the other stuff we've released, and keep an eye out for new homebrew game reviews every Sunday during the month of May. I've been the 7800 Pro Gamer, a homebrew supporter here at the Atari Network, and I'd like to thank you for watching. And remember to stay classy, Atarians.